When they say refer to the help desk, all your emails will come to us and we will do any technical assistance that's needed. Um, I will provide the email at the end. I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. That way I can, wrap up in case Jess has any more comments or if there's any questions at the end. So when you go to AlabamaWorks, you'll sign in. Everyone should have their login now and would have created a password. So once you sign in, your information will populate at the top, or you might have to enter it in. So you can customize your dashboard. Right now, I have mine with Quick Assist first. I would suggest setting it up to where you do have your widgets as Quick Assist, so you can go to your last assisted. Um, you can go to Assist the Individual, and that's usually what you all will work from. If you have any messages, you do want to have your messages up here for when you are communicating with your participants. If they do decide to message you directly instead of sending an email, you'll be able to see your messages here. And so I'm gonna go to Assistant Individual. And from here, this is where you can type in either if you know their state ID, last social security number. If you're searching for someone to see if they're in the system, you want to start with that step first because once you go to manage individual and create a new account, if they are already in the system, you will get an error message saying that an account already exists. So with this participant, since we're doing our tester participant, since we are in production, I'm gonna just click on them and click assist. But also too, if you have their state ID, you can enter it here. Now, if you do have a brand new participant, it's the same. You would click on the menu over here to the left side of the screen, and then you will be able to see assisted individual, release individual, under currently managing, or you can go to services for the workforce staff. And then this is where you can also click on manage individual and create an individual. Please refer back to your red booklet, the AlabamaWorks Case Management Guide, and that will show you steps on creating a brand new participant. Because once you click create an individual, this is where you would do the comprehensive registration. And then this is where you would enter all of that information that they fill out on the CIF. So you create them a username, password, security question, and then as you go on, it's information that the participant would have provided to you, and you enter that in. And it's probably about 10 tabs that you enter information on. And I just want to kind of show you all how that screen looked. But we're going to go back to the menu again. And then we're going to go to manage individual and then assistant individual. And our participant is going to be Mr. Beagle. So when you first come in for the first time, you will have to expand each section. I would suggest expanding your individual profiles and staff profiles. Individual profiles is what the participant enters into the system. Staff profiles is the information that you enter into the system. So once you expand it for the first time, you might have to also expand the folders for each section. If you get in and any folder isn't expanded and you're not sure, just let us know once I provide the help desk email and we can direct you. So mine are already extended. I'm just going to extend those out and I'm going to go to programs. Programs, documents, and case notes is where you are going to mainly work from. So what we're going to do is go to programs. And then we're gonna scroll down. Wagner Pizer, you all will not enter in anything under where you see WP. If it does allow you to enter any information and you click on create title 3, just exit out, don't save any information because once it's saved, it will create another Wagner Pizer. you want just a registration only. That means you have created the AlabamaWorks account and it creates just a dummy account for the Wagner Pfizer. No information has been filled in. So you're gonna just scroll down to where you see Title I Workforce Development. So this is where you're entering your case management, your services, um, anything with enrollment. This is where you're entering your information. So we are going to pick up as if we are creating a brand new application, but I will refer back and forth between the two, between the application that we already have. To save us some time, I went ahead and created it. And if you were to create a brand new one. So normally you would click here, create Title I, but we are going to refer over to the pencil so we can open this one up. So pretend I clicked on create Title I, and your first screen will be your intro screen. You see each section has a hyperlink, but when you first start, everything will be grayed out until you verify the information, which this information is pulled from the general screen, like where you created your AlabamaWorks account. So pretty much once that participant either creates their account or you create it for them, this information is pulled from that screen. So your first screen will be blanks. This is where you're entering in your enrollment eligibility application date. So this is that date that is signed and dated by the participant on the CIF. And here is a copy of the CIF. So customer information form, customer information sheet, whichever one we will know if you are saying CIF or CIS. This is where this participant will fill out this information, and the date you are using will be down here where it says signature and date. This is the date you want to do as your enrollment application and youth or adult. I'm not sure if you all do adult eligibility date. So this date right here needs to match what's in the system. Because when we go back and check that eligibility date, we are looking for a document to justify that date, and this is the document we use. So I'm going to pretend that we did this on 310. So this person, I did it for adult and youth. If the person qualifies as both, you can put them in as both. If they're just a youth, just do the youth. The adult will be completely deleted. It'll be grayed out. So you won't be able to do adult if they are under the age of 18. So you put that in, you put in your application date, and then you will automatically have the office location. If not, you will select your name from the list. You'll see a drop down box with a list of different career centers or different areas, and you'll select in the door. And office of responsibility will be in the door too. So you'll also see another drop down list. You click next. And each screen, you'll see you're just entering in demographic information, employment, barriers, education. It auto-fills what the participant's name is, social security number. What you're doing is you're searching for any of the required areas right here where you see the red asterisk. Um, you will either select social security card if you're verifying the social security number. Um, whatever document you have in hand from that packet, that's what you're clicking on to verify. If you have a separate like a different document that's not listed, just let us know and we can go in and verify if it's on our document, which is the approved documents that we do accept for WIOA eligibility. So usually you will have your social security card. So that's what I clicked as the verification method. As each screen, you'll see where it's auto-filled. You'll see where information is grayed out. You're just looking for the required sections, making sure it's filled in. And then if it does have this verify button, you want to make sure you click verify and actually select the document. So we're going to click through. And we'll get here to the next section. So the next section is verifying date of birth. It auto fills that information. It auto fill everything on the screen, except for selective service. If it is a male, you want to make sure that they have registered. And to check if they registered, you can either go to the selective service website by clicking this link, and it'll take you straight to the selective service website, and you can click verify registration, or you can type in sss.gov and it'll take you to the same screen. So when you click the verify their information, you will need to know their last name, social security number, and date of birth. And once you enter that information in and click submit, that form that pops up, you want to save it as a PDF or a document. And then that is what you are going to upload to their document section. So once you click verify, you want to select something from the drop-down list. If you searched it on sss.gov, which usually that's how you obtain the information, you select that option and then you scroll down and you just keep on filling out the information. If they have a disability, you would select yes, whatever record you use to verify, and then you'll click next. So we're gonna skip over veteran status. If they are a veteran, you'll have their DD 214, you'll click yes, and then I have a list of questions, and you'll just continue on with answering the rest of the questions. So everything that you have to verify in the system, you should also upload a copy in the documents. So if you are verifying it and they selected yes, or they verified on the CIF that they had their high school diploma, um, you will select yes for when we get to the actual education portion, you would select yes, and then you will enter in self-attestation, um, or however they verified that measure. But a copy does need to be uploaded, if it's an selection, option on the selections, or you can put self-attestation. So you would want to make sure they fill out that form. And I'll show you a copy under staff online resources of the customer self-attestation form. So for this person, they said they are not employed. They have a written self-attestation. You have to verify even if they say no. So this was a required section. So we're going to scroll past here. If you do come across any questions, you're not sure if they are unemployed, you do have to put the number of weeks unemployed. Long-term unemployment is 27 weeks or more. So anything under 27 is acceptable. So if you want to put 15, because once they're long-term, that's when I ask you a different list of questions. So anything under 27, if they are a youth under the age of 18, they will not be considered long-term unemployed. So you want to make sure that what you're entering in the system is legit. So if you have any questions, just let us know if you come across, because that's usually case by case. Just remember that anybody under the age of 18 is not long-term unemployed. So you would put anything under 27. So you could put 26, you could put 15, you could put 10, just not 27 because they're not long-term. Oh, and let me go back because I skipped it. You'll see at the very bottom where under unemployment, where you can list their previous and past employers. And this is where you would add employment information. So if you have any employment information on that person, if they have said, yes, I am employed, you want to make sure that you have a copy of the pay stub, some type of information from them so you can enter in their employment information. If you are verifying that they are employed, so you can deem if they are low income, you need to have a copy of the pay stub or one of the other acceptable documents that's listed on the documentation log, and that would justify their employment status and justify their income too. Education is the same. If they're in school, you're serving youth. So if they are currently in school, you want to have their school records. You want to put their school status. It can be a self-attestation for the school status, but you do need a copy of their school records to justify that they're in school. If they are saying if you mark that school records was the verifying method for it. If it's just a self-attestation, that's fine too. But you'll see where you have self-attestation or school records. So if you can get the document, that's fine. If they want to just attest that they're still in school, that's fine too. For youth, they can use the school records to verify their social security number. So that's something that you would have to consider for youth. If they use that measure, then you do need to have a copy of it uploaded. Just depending on what you select from the drop-down box is what you'll actually upload to the system. So the same with if they have their diploma or not. You'll see school status. They have a few different options, such as in school, secondary, in school alternative, in school post-secondary, not attending school dropout, or not attending school, received high school diploma or equivalent. Then you get to public assistance. If the participant receives anything such as SNAP or TANF, you do need a copy. Like Kevin was saying earlier, you can have a copy of the card with a receipt from the last 6 months. That's completely fine for SNAP. If you do have a copy from DHR showing that they receive assistance, that can be used too. You just want to make sure that it's one of the options on the list and that you upload a copy to. That can be all included in the eligibility packet when you first upload it after you complete their eligibility. If you do it separate, please list that it is SNAP verification, verification of low income, just something in the description so we know exactly what the document is. And we can use that to verify when we are auditing the accounts or when they're monitored. And you get to barriers. If the person has a barrier that's listed on this, English language learner, basic skills deficient, that might be one you all use quite often, depending on how they score on the TABE test. If they score on the tape and it says that this person scored within a certain level of I'm sorry, of basic skills deficient, then you want to select yes, and then verify is the standardized assessment test, and that's the test we're referring to, the tape test. If you have any other measures, homeless, runaway, foster care, make sure that once again, it's on the document list. It's either a court documentation showing they're in foster care or anything of that such. So we're gonna go to the next section. Household and income. So that's what I was referring to earlier, where I was saying you would need a copy of the pay stub. This is where you can determine if they're low income, if you're basing it off of their income, maybe if they weren't already on some type of public assistance. So you put their family size, which they can attest to if they have family size of one, two, so on. And then a copy of their pay stub if you're entering in an actual income. So the pay stub, what you would do with your calculations is you want to take what they make and I want to say multiply it by 6 because you want to see what they make throughout half of the year to see what their final annual income is. So you take last 6 months times 2. That's what it is. Sorry. So with their pay stubs, they can give you the last 2 or 3. You'll calculate that. And I want to say it's a sheet that is provided to you all with how to do calculations based on if the person is paid bi-weekly, paid monthly, paid every other week, or so on. And then miscellaneous, this is all automatically set as no. So unless the participant needs any assistance with anything of this such, you can just go on to the next page. If they do, this is assistance that you all would provide. So if they have a substance abuse issue, if you have some type of substance abuse program, you can mark yes, but this is not barriers that we look at when we're monitoring accounts. And then finally, you make it to the eligibility summary. So by the time you make it to this page, you should see where if you did youth eligibility, you will see that it is highlighted green. They're marked as out of school. It shows what type of factors you listed that made them eligible. For this person, it says BSD and low income. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for it to be highlighted green and to list the actual barrier, income, um, whatever you use to verify that they are eligible for WIOA services listed under priority. And then this is where you would scroll down and click Assign Me. If you are the case manager or if you're just doing the data entry for someone else, you can click, it will say Assign Case Manager instead of Reassign, but you will click from here and then you will go to the list where you all are assigned to this group and you will see a list of names. If you do not show up on this list, please let us know. And this should have everybody that is in that area. In the door is separate areas, so you won't see a list of everybody's name. But if they were area 4 or if they were area 2, you would see just those individuals that are linked to area 2, 4, 5 listed on this drop down list. And then you will click finish. And see, normally once you click finish, this box that pops up will say enter in participation date. So you would click on that. We're just gonna pretend that it's saying that and I'll show you the area it automatically takes you to. So when you're doing the application for the first time, it automatically takes you to the participation ribbon. Here will be the same date that you entered in for the eligibility. So that date that the participant signed, this is the date that you're entering here. So once you click save, normally the next box shows up and it takes you to your first service. So then it takes you under your activities enrollment services tab or ribbon. And when you're doing your first service, if it's an adult, you'll do a 102 service. If it's a youth, you'll do a 412. And I want to say I have a copy of, I want to say this is the youth services. So I think that's what you all would normally do. So you'll see where the 412 is the objective assessment. That's always your first service code. So you want to enter in that service with the same start and end date. So going back, you'll see where you have to select your actual office, which will be in the door. And then you will enter in a projected date, projected begin date. It's the same date the participant signed. It will automatically fill in your actual begin date for your first service because it goes off of the participation date. So your first service, you can never change the actual begin date, and your projected end date would be the same date that you're using that the participant signed. So all of the dates should match. And then you would select your service code, which I selected 102 for this example, but you could select 412. And I'll show you how that drop down list looks, but this is how it looks after you've saved the code. Please remember too that once you enter a code and save it, it cannot be edited. So we cannot go in and edit the actual service code. If you need any assistance, like you added the wrong code or you added a duplicate code, when you contact the help desk, please add the correct code and then let us know to go back and delete the previous code. And then you click next. And from here, this is where you're putting your provider information. For you all, it'll be in the door. as your provider, service course contract will be more than likely in the door. But we'll do a brand new service code so I can show you all how to look from scratch. This one is just one I want to show how the first service code looks. And when you get to you'll see where I clicked on next, and it took me from service provider all the way to closure information. It skips these sections because it's not needed. So when you first come in, you'll see general information. That's where I entered in the dates and the actual service code. You'll see service provider where you would enter in the door as your provider, and then it skips to closure information. And for your first service code, you want to do the last activity date as the same date that they signed, and it will always be a successful completion. And so when you click on successful completion, you'll see where it'll have successful, unsuccessful, dropped out of activity, and unknown status. You all will only use successful and unsuccessful for all other service codes except for your intensive services. So that's like the 412, 413, or for adults, the 102, 203, 204, and 205. Those service codes will always be successful. For any of the others that you're using, like those codes from the youth element sheet, those would be unsuccessful if they do not complete the program. It is not considered dropped out of activity if they refuse to continue training, or if the person completed eligibility and then didn't go into training, it would still be successful, and then you would just close them out. So we cannot delete enrollments, and we cannot delete service codes if they were put in correctly. We're only deleting errors. So if it's like incorrect service, or a service that you meant to put on someone else's account, we can delete those, but we can't delete it if they finish eligibility and then refuse training. So I'm going to click finish. And it'll take us down to where you see the 102 service. So you'll see where it has the yellow C, that means the service is closed. You'll see where the dates projected begin, actual begin, projected end, and actual end is all the same, all the same dates. You'll see where the provider's career center services, but I'm gonna do a brand new one for you all, and I'm gonna do it as a 413, just so you can kind of see. So you'll see where this person I put as an adult, and I put the service code 102, 203, 204, and 205. 203 and 204, if you do adults, those are also open and closed on the same day. These first three service codes show that you completed the first initial eligibility, and then the 205 shows that they have a plan that they're pursuing throughout the life of their enrollment. So these justify that, hey, I completed the CIF, I got a copy of Social Security card, ID, I verified this person is eligible for WIOA services. And then the 205 is, hey, I'm assisting this person in X, Y, and Z training. This person wants to become a nurse. So I'm gonna leave this open, this plan, until we finish. But don't get this confused with the actual plan that we're going to go over. The actual plan is going to be up here under the plan section. So we'll go over that later. But if you refer back to your red booklet, you'll see where it has, after you entering your first service code, then you go straight up to the plan and objective assessment. But I'm going to show you all how a brand new service is by clicking create activity enrollment service. When you first come to this screen, it may be minimized. So you'll see where each section looks like this. You want to skip down from where you will first go into the WIOA application. You'll see where it says complete. That means we completed all portions of the enrollment, and you don't have any sections that's incomplete under the eligibility. Where we got to the eligibility summary screen and everything, that's showing that that was completed. So you'll go down to activities, enrollments, and services, and you'll do create activity enrollment service. So from here, This is where you're going to do your customer group. We're doing them as a youth out of school. And if it's in school, to say youth in school. We're going to select the office. We're doing central, and we're going to do in the door. You want to scroll down to where you see the required section for activity code, and you do select activity code. And that refers back here to those list of codes. You should see a list that looks like this of service codes. We're going to do the 412 because we're saying that this person completed the first initial enrollment. So we're going to select 412. And then we're going to do the projected actual and projected end date, all as 310. Normally, if it's today's date, you can just click here where it says today. And if not, you can just type it in. Make sure you put in 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and then 4 digits for the year. And it saves each time when you do the projected and actual begin date. So you click next. And if you have any questions, trying to make sure there's no questions. Okay. Yeah, if you have any questions, save it to the end and then I'm gonna go back to the chat because I can't see it as I'm doing the demo. So, and then back here, you'll see where it took us straight to the service provider list. So you click on select provider. You can either scroll down and look for in the door. You can do Control F and search for in the door. Can't remember if you all have it together. Okay. Or you can also search for it by going up to where you see show filter criteria. Select that and type in provider name. So it's just 3 different methods. You can do Control F, you can search for it on the list, or you can go up here to filter criteria. Service course contract. This is where you're selecting your contract. There's central, east, north central, or west. We're going to do central since this is for in the door area 5. And then you'll click next. And see, since this is a youth, is that also asking for their school status. For adults, it does not ask for the school status. So for this, since it's the first service code, the 412, we're going to do 310, 2026 again. It will always be successful. And school status, I got this person as I want to say as a high school dropout, but whatever their school status is at the time. And we verify it by written customer self-attestation and then finish. Okay, I got this person as having a high school diploma. And that's where you'll see your first service code. So it'll show the funding and grant. You'll see where it'll say adult or youth. It'll have the ID number. If you're requesting for a service code to be deleted, like I was saying before, please add the updated service. If it needs to be backdated, you just enter it in with today's date. If it's a service that you will need to leave open, please put a projected end date and you can put it out to, however long you need it. But please enter in the correct code. Leave it open if it needs to be left open, like where you see the 205. You'll see the green open mark, or close it, and then we'll go in and backdate it, and then we'll go in and delete the previous service. The system will not let you delete anything. You can't delete service codes, case notes, or documents. So a request needs to be sent to the help desk, And please include this ID number. It makes it easier, especially if you have multiple services, because once the participant is up and running, you might have multiple incentives or some type of supportive service. So this ID number helps us determine which one needs to be deleted. And so that's the services. And referring back to the red booklet, after you do your first service, we're going to scroll up and you can either click on plan here, where you see case summary, programs, plan, assessment, or you can click plan from the case management profile up here. So we're going to click on plan here. And then this is where you enter in your objective assessment. So your objective assessment, you'll click on create objective assessment, but we're going to click edit for one that's already open. And this will autofill your area based on the area that you entered in during enrollment. And you'll click here where you have to, if you completed it today, then you can put today's date. I did mine for the 12th, whichever day you're actually completing the objective assessment. As far as like you're actually entering them into the system, that's what you would put here. So you'll see where it says completed date under the plan and completed date under the objective assessment. This is just the day you're entering it in. Under the plan, it's going to be the actual day they completed all of their training, all of their assistance, and they're no longer enrolled in the program. Like they're actually about to go into follow-up. So you'll click next. And then once it gets to the next screen, you'll see where at the top, each section you're on, it'll be actually grayed out to show you what section you're on. And these will all stay hyperlinked so you can go to each section as needed. So under the objective assessment, you're pretty much listing what services is the participant seeking at the time they came in, the expectations, what type of occupation that they would like to go in. This is you sitting down and going over what goals does this participant have, and the objective assessment is also asking what I guess certifications or they have a high school diploma. What is their level of education at the time that they're actually enrolling? So to skip kind of through this, because since it's in the red booklet, because this is mainly information that is specific to that participant. It'll auto-populate information such as their education, household and income, employment. You'll see where you list a lot of the same information that you put under the WIOA application. But once you get to the end and you actually click finish, it'll take you back to the main screen. And this is where you'll see your objective assessment with your create date and who created it. Now, the plan, I go into more detail. The plan, you would click on create individual employment plan. This is what that 205 or that 413 is justifying, that they are currently trying to pursue some type of goal, whether it's a student trying to get their GED because they dropped out, or whether someone going into on the job training, or someone that needs assistance with enrolling into driving, nursing. This is where you're listing that information. So after you click create individual employment plan, we're just going to click edit. It'll take you to this screen. Oh, sorry. I got lost connection. Can you all still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So from here, when you're doing the plan, you're going to do your plan start date, which whatever day you're going over this with the participant, this date does not have to match the eligibility date, but it needs to be close to it. I would say if they are eligible on, let's say this person's 310, I would say I wouldn't do it any later than 2 or 3 days later. especially if you have to have the participant come back in, because they have to sign the plan showing that they verify that this plan is what they want to pursue. And then you have to upload a copy of it, which I'll go over at the end. So I did it as plan start date 3/12. Region office, leave this date blank, because this is what I was talking about before, where you have the plan closed on. This is when you're actually closing out the plan. So you want to leave it open while while the participant is pursuing the training or the schooling. So you click next. And then this is where you're going to have your goal. So the goal is the overall picture, and then your objectives are achievements that will lead up to the goal. So for this person, I'm going to say that they are pursuing schooling, board of nursing license. You can have multiple goals. Like this person also needs to complete the nursing program at Trenton State Community College for a licensed practical nurse. So we're going to click on edit. Normally you would just click here, blue hyperlink at the bottom left that says add new goal, but we're going to click edit. From here, you would put type of goal. Well, for one, you put Title I or apprenticeship, which you all will always be Title I. If it's schooling, employment, or training, schooling is the ITAs, training is the OJTs, or the work-based learning, and then employment is the if they're on a no, employment would be the OJTs, training would be the work-based learning, yeah, and then schooling would be the ITAs. I'm sorry. And then you would put if it's long-term or short-term. So this person, I know the program is going to be longer than, short-term would be anywhere from 2 weeks to maybe like 3 months is short term. And then anything longer than that, that's when it's long term. It's going to be a program going on for at least a year. That's long term. So if they're in the OJT, that's normally short term, because OJTs have so many hours, they can't go on for longer than, I want to say, 6 months. But you want to make sure that you put the term here, and then you put the description of the goal. So whatever the overall goal is, once the participant finishes this training, they will be a LPN. And so then will list the objectives that will lead to becoming an LPN. Like they will do the NCLEX, or they will complete clinicals. Like you want to list objectives up to that. Like if the participant is trying to get their high school diploma, you want to make sure that they are obtaining a certain GPA, or if they want to get their GED, that the goal would be obtain GED, and then the objectives would be complete science portion of GED, or pass science portion of GED, and so on. So you can have one goal and multiple objectives, or you can have multiple objectives, multiple goals, but that's what it's all lead back to. What's the overall plan for this participant? And the date established, that'll be the same date that you entered in for your plan. So the same date you had under, well, I'll show you. Um, so the date established is the same date you'll have under that plan section. And then estimated completion be what your projected date is. So anywhere from um, um 3 months from now to a year from now. I would suggest maybe a year, then make sure you give yourself enough time. If they complete before then, that's completely fine. You don't have to change the estimated completion date. But once they finish this goal, you do have to put in an actual completion date, and then change the completion status to closed. And then the reason would be successful or unsuccessful. So if they actually complete the goal and they finish the program, it will be successful. If they don't, this would be unsuccessful. And then you'll save it. And that date is going to be the same date as here where you see plan. So that date that you entered in for the plan start date. And then that's the same as for the objectives. For this person, for their goal of completing nursing program at Trenton, I'm gonna open this one up, but you normally would click on add an objective over here to the left bottom side of the screen. So we're gonna edit and open this one up. And so when you select the goal, it'll show your goals that you listed on the previous screen. So you're selecting the one that you want to go with, which is complete nursing program for this person, or it would have been obtain Board of Nursing license. So we're gonna go with complete nursing program. Date established, same date you put as the plan and goal. You put your region, program affiliation would be Title 1. And then your objective. This is where you're putting your specific objective to get to that goal. So for this person, I put needs a GPA of 2.5 or higher and pass all courses. So you'll do your established date. Your review date will auto-populate based on your date established, so you don't have to put anything here. If it does not, just put it out for a year. Sometimes it populates. Most of the time it populates unless you're going back and editing it or editing it. So you can just leave that there. And then actual completion, leave it open until they finish. Once they finish, you'll put in the completion date. You will close it, and then you'll put the completion reason again. To when they do get to the end and they finish all goals, all objectives, and you're closing the plan, you'll see where we worked from left to right, you'll work from right to left. So with objectives, you want to close your objectives first, then close your goals, then close your plan when they're finished. Because if you try to close the plan before you close the goals, you'll get an error message. And if you try to close the goals before you close the objectives, you'll get another message saying that they have open objectives. And then you'll click next once you finish. So this person's at the beginning, they hadn't finished anything. And then you'll click finish. And that list of services doesn't, it just goes off of services that you entered in when doing their enrollment. So that's the information that's under the plan. And that's the objective assessment and the IEP. Once they finish, you finish filling it out, what you want to do is click display/print over to the right side under action. And you want to scroll down and actually print this form out. And once you print it out, it should have your goals, term of goals, and then it'll say who it was created by, and then you have the applicant or the participant sign and date it, and then you will upload a copy of this form to the documents. So they need a copy of the plan along with all the other eligibility documents. So going back to the red book, to try to stay in order, what we're going to do is after you finish with the plan and you print it and you get the participant to sign, or pretty much once you print it, if you can't get the participant to sign that day, you want to go back and then actually put in the rest of your services, like your 203, 204, or like your 413. And then by doing that, you go back because you're going to be under summary when you go back and you go to programs. And then it'll be like before. You scroll down past Wagner Pizer to WIOA. You're going to click on the plus to the left when you're opening up an enrollment that you already completed. And then you'll scroll down to activities, enrollments, and services and actually enter in those service codes. So that'll be your service codes, like your incentives, like your, supportive services, sorry, or like your training services, or any other services that you're entering. So you leave those open. Don't forget, I'm going to open this 205 book. So if it's a service that needs to be left open, don't forget you put those projected and actual begin dates as normally whatever date you're assisting this participant, or if it's a 205, the same date as the eligibility. And you want to put out a projected end date that's at least a year out so it can stay open. Because once this service closes, it will system close well, the service will system close. Then the 205 usually keeps the training open. So then the training service will close. And then after 90 days, the whole application, the WIOA application will close. And then that's where you'll have to have us come in, open the application back up, open the services back up so they can continue training. Because as of that moment, it's a system closure, so it's counted negatively in performance. So it's not counted as a successful completion. It's counted as this participant abruptly stopped, this is the last date, whatever the projected end date you had, and that they're closed, no closure information has been entered, plan is still open. It's just it reports negatively. But that doesn't mean to say that you can't reach out to us and have us open it because it happens all the time. So we completely understand. So don't have any anxiety about reaching out to us because we're here to help. And I'm gonna click Exit Wizard. You'll see with Exit Wizard, you can select this on any of the services. So let's say you get to provider, maybe next year, your contract hasn't been entered into the system yet. And you get to this screen, you go to search for a provider. You don't see you all, or you'll see your name, but when you actually do the service course contract, nothing shows up. Just click here on Exit Wizard and you click OK because it's just saying that you're exiting out of the activity without saving, but it actually did save it. Once you enter their information on the providers or on the service screen, it's going to automatically save your service code. It'll just list no provider as the provider. So, and then that's when you can go back and actually click the W right here under actions and open the service back up and actually list whatever your provider information is. And you'll just click up here at the top on the hyperlink and it'll take you right back to the provider screen. So if you come across that, if you forget, just let us know. That's only if it takes a minute and you can't put your provider information in, but I want to make sure to include that in case you do run across that. So we're gonna say that this participant finished eligibility, you got the services in. Now you're entering in their TABE scores. So not only do you need a copy of the TABE scores uploaded to the documents, you also need to enter it under the educational functioning level for measurable skill gains. So you click on this ribbon, open it up, and then we're going to click create educational functioning level record. But we're actually gonna click here, but that's where you would click and it will open up this screen where you will have your customer group. You select the customer group. It already have the region and you're entering in the day they took the TABE test. Assessment category is always ABE. Type is going to be 1314 now. And then it's going to be either reading, language, or math. It's going to be either reading or math, but language is on there too. But you only ever give them a TABE test with reading and math. So this person did math. You skip the assessment form version info, and then you put their score. And so once you put their score here, this is where the system automatically determines if they are basic skills deficient. I put 580, so you'll see where it does say basic skills deficient, yes, but I'm gonna do 680 or what is it, 600? No, okay, yeah, because it has to be within their score level. So you'll see where it says no. So it'll let you know if they are basic skills deficient or not based on the scores in the system that we have coded on the back end. If you run across any and you know that that is considered a basic skills deficient code, please let us know and we'll reach out and put in a ticket. Anytime you come across any errors, just let us know at the help desk. Please send us how you got to that error, like whether it's under the EFL, send us the state ID, send us kind of like a brief description of what it should be and what it's showing up as, and then we'll put in a ticket for you. And then you would just click save. And that's for the pre-TABE scores. So if you're doing a post-TABE, you will click on here under the create post-assessment record. And the screen is the same. It'll have where you have your location. It'll already have your customer grade out because you selected it because it's just populating based on your pre-tape information. And then you're going to scroll down here and you're going to actually enter in their post-tape date, score. It'll automatically populate the level. It'll let you know if it's basic skills deficient, and then you'll click save. And then that is how you do the tape scores. And if it's an adult, you would do a training justification. I think you all being mainly youth participants, you do not have a training justification because it's a list of questions that it asks, which I can show you an example. And you'll see at the bottom, the last question asks if this person is, here we go. Condition 6 is asking if they will be funded through the adult funding stream. For youth, they will not, so you do not do a training justification because you can't answer that question. And if you say no, the system will not allow you to enter in the training justification. And the training justification is just pretty much listing what type of training they're going into, the training justification date, which is the date you're entering it, what their ONET code is, what's the NAICS code, and then if your supervisor wants to approve it, or if you can approve it, then that it was approved and they do meet the training justification requirements. And then you would normally click save. So now they're up and running. They've been to school. Let's say it's somebody that's still in school. They got their report card. So now you want to record the measurable skill gains. So what you want to do from here is click on measurable skill gains and then click create measurable skill gain. But we're gonna click on this one. Since this person is in school and they are doing nursing. I did training milestone, and I want to say it's for the report card. Oh, this is based off of an OJT, but you would normally do, let's do one from, well, let's just go off of this one. It'll be easier. So you'll see where you can do the post-secondary transcript or report card, secondary transcript or report card, training milestone, skills progression, or credits attained for EFL, which that's for if they complete portions of the GED. So, measurable skills gain, if they are in an occupational training, it's gonna be, or occupational skills progression. So it's gonna be skills progression. If they are in a on-the-job training, it's gonna be training milestone. If they're in school post-secondary, it's gonna be report card, when you get a copy of their report card. And then if they are in school, secondary school, it's gonna be a copy of their report card. So you wanna make sure you do receive a copy, every quarter as they are enrolled, and you do upload that and put in your MSG. You can have multiple MSGs, so that's completely fine. And then you want to make sure when you verify that you actually put the document that you use to verify with. So it would be report card, it would be, copy of transcript for those that are in post-secondary. And then you would put the achievement type based on whatever skill type you put. And you'll see a list of options. This is a OJT, so I ended up putting that they achieve satisfactory or better progress towards the OJT. And then you will click save. And so that's your MSG. And then, and I didn't forget, I'm gonna go back and show you all the document section, but I want to kind of show you this section before we go there. Because normally you're uploading your documents as you're going. So you will go back and forth. You will do your information, do your enrollment, upload your documents, your eligibility packet, do your case note, then you'll come back. But this is just based on this screen first, so I don't cause any confusion going back and forth. Um, so let's say they finished everything, and they got their credential. They finished school, they got their diploma, they got their GED, They got their actual license, they finished the program. You're gonna do create credential, and you actually have a copy of it in hand too. This is where you're selecting your region. We're going to do central, and we're gonna do office in the door. Credential received, this person actually did receive their degree. We're gonna say they received their degree with nursing, because the LPN degree. So they received their associates. So we clicked on that degree type, we click verify. You can click copy of degree because you have a copy of it in hand. And then the date that's on the degree, you want to list that date. We're just gonna put today's date. Uh, if you receive a document without a date, please ask the participant what should the date be, and then you can jot it down at the top and initial it as the case manager and then upload it. Please do not upload documents without a date on them if it's to verify a credential, because we need to verify the credential date. Um, so you want to associate it with a training. Normally, it would be with a training service, anything such as like a ITA training service. So what you want to do is look down on the list. You don't want to associate it with just regular intensive services. So like let's see, let's say that they went through, I'm gonna say they had like a 416 or something. So you associate it with the 416, or and then we're gonna pretend that that was entered in. So you would actually select that service code, and then you would see the training code associated to it. It would say 416 normally, because you want to associate it with a training. If you do not, let's say, oh, it's not gonna let me remove it, I don't think. So if you don't associate it with a training service, you'll get a notification at the top that says credential will be saved, but this will not be associated with a training, and it will reflect negatively because it will show that no training resulted in this credential and you all will not receive service or receive credit for that credential. So you'll save, and then it'll have your credential listed. So that's it. If you need to add employment, if they do start working, you'll add the employment here. This would be the same thing as if you are adding the employment when you get to the closure. You do need a copy of the pay stub, or you will do the employment follow-up survey. And that's where you're listing the employment, you're listing the employer's information. You're verifying it with one of the measures listed. You're actually entering in anything that's required, the employer's contact information, phone number, job title, how much that person is making, when the start and end date was. If they're still currently employed, you select currently employed and you don't put an end date. And if they left, you select reason for leaving, whether they were laid off or terminated. And then it asks you specific questions about that employer, if it's their primary, if they receive fringe benefits. So you're going down the list. And then once you get here, you'll see where it says if they're training related. You really, really want to make sure that the training that they're in matches the employment that they're going into. So it goes off of if this employer is already in the system or whether you're entering it. And it tries to search for the industry code compared to the training services industry code. And that's where you'll get if it's training related or not. So if this is a employer, if they went to school for nursing, but this is an employer for, um, I don't know, something like, give me a different occupation besides healthcare. Weld. It's employer for welding, and maybe they're like at the front desk or something. It will say training related, no. So you want to make sure those codes are similar in similar industries. And then you'll click save, but we're going to click cancel. And that's pretty much it until we get ready to close the services out after I show you the documents and case notes on this screen as far as the information you're going to enter. So this person is up and running. They're good to go. Um, you're going back and you're actually putting in your documents. You will click Document Staff under General Profile. And this is where you're actually going to upload those eligibility documents or any other documents that you have. So from here, you just want to scroll down and click Add a Document down here at the bottom. And from here, you want to you can click the program. It's not required, but it is required that you put a description. So document tag is how it's going to show up on our end. It's going to show, which I'll show you again on the other screen. It's going to show your document tag and it's going to show what the document was named. So you want to put eligibility document, tape, score, any other document that you need to verify um, the service received for the participant. So you put that here and then you will upload it. You can drag and drop, or you can click browse files and then you'll click save. And then once you save it, it'll actually save it like this. And you'll see where it says document name, and that is how you labeled the document on your end, and document tag, what we're going to be actually looking at, and it'll be eligibility document. And you can click view. Once you click view, it'll actually show you a copy of the document. If it's a packet, it'll let you scroll down and show you all the pages on the left side and let you scroll down and look at all the pages. And then that's how the documents look. And then when you're adding your case notes, you'll go back here to the top under general profile and go to case notes. And from here, you'll actually put in your case note. I did one based on a previous eligibility / suitability case note. So you'll normally click, sorry, let me show you where to click. You'll normally click add case note here at the top left of the screen. And once you add your case note, it'll look like this. I'm going to click edit. So you'll see where your case note shows contact date. Contact date can be changed. It's going to show us on our end a contact date and a entry date. So contact date, if you need to go back and say that you actually contacted them in January, that's fine. I would say stay as up to date as possible because you will forget and you will be missing information if you wait too long. But if you need to go back a day or two or like last week, that's fine because it'll show us the day that you actually entered it in and the day that you actually contacted them. You'll enter in your region, program, your subject could be whatever the subject is for this person. It's their eligibility and suitability enrollment case note. So you'll put that as the subject and then you'll list your information like Kevin was saying. Participant is eligible as X, Y, and Z, completed initial intake and eligibility. Eligibility was completed on X, Y, and Z date. What they were actually eligible as, so high school dropout. You will refer them to adult ed because they will receive their GED on X, Y, and Z date as you're going along with adult ed, seeing when they would finish the program, what their family size was, that they were basic skills deficient. You just want to list all that information that you used on the eligibility, the WIOA eligibility screen, and actually telling us what was used for their determination for this person and why they are suitable. Because these are their goals. They would like to get their GED, assistance in going into a high paying occupation. Maybe they're interested in CDL. Once they get their GED, then you'll have another case note that's just like, okay, participant has been approved for CDL program with XYZ truck driving. So you want to just list some information here. Same thing with incentive. If they receive a stipend or a incentive, you want to say they received this for X, Y, and Z. They received this for completing this portion of GED in the amount of $50. Or if it's a gas card, they received this gas card. Like you just want to list that information. And that's something I meant to add. For any supportive service, that's always the same start and end date because supportive services are used by our accounting when they're going in to verify that service is in the system and case note in a document because even if it's going to be continuous, even if it's something that they will receive every 2 weeks or every month, you always want to do the same start and end date because that service is going to be tied to money. So that's why you want to have that as a service. That's the same start and end date. So normally you click save for your case note, and then you'll have your case note, and it'll show who created it. You'll see where it says contact date, and it'll actually have your create date. It'll have your case note number. If you are requesting for a case note to be deleted, please explain why the case note needs to be deleted, and please give us the case note ID number right here so we know that it's the same correct case note that needs to be deleted. Um, Please upload the correct case note if it is maybe you accidentally put the wrong case note on somebody's file, and then we will go in. We always want the correct information uploaded first or entered in first, and then if it needs to be backdated, let us know before we go in and delete the previous information. Now it's not as much of a big deal because we can see previously deleted case notes and we can see previously deleted documents, but before we couldn't. So it caused a lot of confusion. Um, so this person is good to go. They're enrolled. Now we're gonna say they finished. They finished their program, they got everything they needed. And now you want to go in and actually close out the services. So your services are still open. They did not system close. You want to go in and actually click on actual end date. Click on where you see close. Enter your closure date. Enter your completion, whether it's successful or unsuccessful. Do not use dropped out of activity. And do not use unknown. And I do not think you all can see void. You want to enter in their school status, or if it's an adult, you don't put the school status, and you want to verify, and you want to click finish. So now all services have been closed. You want to go in and close the plan. Please close the plan before you add the closure to the ribbon. Sorry, the screen jumps sometimes. Please close the plan before you add the closure because you'll see why when I show you the example. Let's say you close services, but you left the actual closure ribbon open. When you go down here to closure, and you'll see where you don't click exit, because the system will automatically exit them after 90 days. On the 91st day, the system will exit them unless you need to exit them because the participant has passed away or the participant has been incarcerated. Something is to remove them from the program where you will not hear from them for over 30 days. That's the only time you'll go in and actually exit them. So we will refer to what you would probably call the exit, the closure, because you want to close them out. And we refer to the system as the system exiting them. So you create a closure. You would do neither condition applies for closure exit status because it's asking if they retired or if they have an invalid social security number. Since the social security number is required at the time of eligibility, it will not be required and it will not be considered invalid because you received a copy of their card or something to verify their social security number. Um, you will do school status if they are currently in school. This will still show up, but it's not required for adults. So this person has their high school diploma. They graduated. Verify school records. Youth placement. Since this person is a youth too, we're gonna say that none of the above. They didn't go into post-secondary. Well, we're gonna actually say they entered post-secondary. And placement date, we're gonna say today's date. And there's an appropriate document in the case file. But that's only for youth if they went into post-secondary. Because for youth, if they got, let's say if you had a participant go through the program and they only got their, well, not only, but they achieved their high school diploma or GED, for that to count as a credential, they have to go into post-secondary or go into employment. So they have to get a job. So we're going to put that into employment. If you put yes, you can always add the employment information there. Or you'll see where it says just recall employer. If you have information that you entered under the employer ribbon, it'll recall that information and you can just enter that in. So we're going to say yes, add employer. And you can search for the individual employment history. It'll show you a list of everything you entered into the system. And let's say if you select the first option, it's going to pre-fill this information. The only thing you need to do is make sure everything has been filled out and then go down and recheck these questions because these will not be automatically checked and click save. So we're gonna say no. And then you'll notice that the system jumps because every time you exit out of something or change a option, it's trying to save it again. So sometimes if you're clicking fast, it'll look a little glitchy, but it's saving your selections. And then you'll click save. Well, it was supposed to give an error message saying that you are adding the closure without closing the plan. But you did not. So let me put a note. But normally you will have a error message that's just like, please close the plan before adding, or your plan is still open. Would you like to save the closure? So it's like a message so you can know to go back up to the plan and actually close the plan. Because you want to make sure this plan is closed before you add your actual closure information. And you'll see where it says closed. And remember I said work from right to left. So you close the objective assessments. I mean, you close the objectives, you close the goals, and then you close the plan. Putting a note that the error message didn't show up. Okay. And I want to say, let's see. Making sure I didn't miss anything. I'm going to show you all staff online resources, and then I'll give you all the help desk contact information. And I think that is it for the demo. So staff online resources, if you click over here to the top left, right next to the Workforce Alabama sign, you'll click here where it says other staff services and staff online resources. Any document referred in or any document brought up in this training or any document that you are given is going to be on here. You scroll past the Alabama Department of Workforce because this is the Wagner Pizer side, and you go down to Workforce Development because this is the WIOA side. All of these hyperlinks will show you the documents. So if you want to get the user guide because you might have lost your red book, it has a copy that you can print here. If you want to go to WIOA training videos, this link will take you right to YouTube. If you want to go and get the help desk form, which with the help desk, you can send us an email with the information listed, or you can use this form, which I had a copy actually pulled up here. The help desk form just has where you enter in the participant's information, a description of your issue. You do not have to fill out all this information. We just need the participant's name and state ID. And then you need to put the actual issue that you're experiencing with this participant, like as far as you need a document deleted, you need services backdated. If you just have a general question, you don't have to fill this out. If you're just asking about eligibility or something, this form is only for like a type of correction that you're needing. And when I say state ID, I mean Can't remember if I showed you. And go back to the screen. The state ID is going to be under summary. So you go under general profile and you actually scroll down and you'll see where it says state ID. And this is the ID that is unique to this person that we would need when requesting assistance. There's a lot of participants with the same first and last name, so we always require the state ID, but you can still send their first and last name. It helps us in case by chance maybe you sent the state ID and you were off by 1 digit. Then we can go in and actually search for the first and last name, and maybe we can find it that way. We try to find them before requesting for you to send another updated or to recheck your state ID. So sometimes if it's like triple nines, triple twos, people might leave one off. But yes, but going back to staff online resources, yeah, you can see all the documents referred from the training. You'll see your customer information form, a fillable version of it. You'll see your ITA forms, your OJT forms, and you'll see too where I want to say, oh, not that form, sorry. Did they update her? Okay, they did not update our email yet on this form, but our email address is slightly different since combining with labor. Now it is going to be help desk, which I type it out here. Help desk dot, yeah, I have to refer back. Let's see. Here we go. Help desk dot AlabamaWorks. I forget that other A in Alabama. At workforce.alabama.gov. So they made it drastically longer than before, but that is our email. So helpdesk.alabamaworks@workforce.alabama.gov. And it'll come straight to us, and me or Kristen will be able to help you. Someone sorts through the emails on the Wagner Pfizer side. So if it takes, it's usually fast. So we usually respond that same day. But let's say if that person is out and maybe they don't sort it and we didn't get a notification. Our turnaround time is normally, please give us 7 days, but requests are always done way before then. And it's usually done that same day. Um, if you have a very specific question, please just state in the email. We might just go ahead and email you from our email instead of going back and forth with the help desk, so we get the notification to our inbox. But we are always here to help, no matter if you have a question about eligibility or a question about corrections or anything, just let us know and we'll help. We can create new accounts. We can unlock accounts, passwords. Um, and if you have a participant who's locked out of their account, you can let us know and we'll unlock their account. Um, so I think that is it. Make sure I brought up everything that needs to be brought up. Yes, that's it. Did anybody have any questions?
I do. I have one question. Is there
Yes.
is there a sandbox or something similar available for the staff to practice in and to explore different options in the system?
Oh, yes, we do have a test site that we use. It's through the UAT site. We just have to send you a link and actually, we'll probably have to have Geo, our web-based provider, go in and actually create you a login. And then you can get onto the test site and go in there and don't worry about production because everything on the test site doesn't reflect on production. So you can actually test the system. But just let me know, did you need one?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, I'll write you down and see if I can get you a login.
Cecily,
Oh, wait.
And will we
we
all
have
share?
Cecily, we
Oh,
have admin accounts just like the production site, so we just need to get you to reset our admin passwords.
Okay, okay. Gotcha.
So my question
Yes.
is, would all the staff use that one account, or would they have their own individual tester account?
Ooh, that's a good question.
We can set anybody who wants a test account up with one. It's Cecily, it's no different than setting them up on the production side.
Okay, okay. So yeah, it'll just be your unique username and password, and then you can go in and navigate in the system. So okay, should I set up one for pretty much everybody, or is there like certain people that want one?
Yes, ma'am. Would you please set up one for each staff?
Okay. I do a UAT. Okay, I'm gonna get that. I'm trying to have that set up today. If not today, it'll be tomorrow. And then I'll send you all your logins because I gotta get back in there and get my login too. So that way I can set you all up.
Thank you.
No problem. Write down the names. I think I have a list already, but I want to make sure. So Miss Angela, Miss Lakia,